How would someone spend an enormous amount of money, like $10 trillion? They could buy a lot of fancy sports cars and build a gigantic mansion as big as Vatican City. But if they're smart, they might want to take a cue from the Rothschilds. Instead of just buying things, they invest their money wisely. One interesting example is when Nat Rothschild bought a super expensive yacht called Planet 9 for $85 million.
So happy that we've won this race, and I just want to enjoy today and this week and this month and even the rest of this year, savoring this moment. So I don't really think about the next step. The
name comes from the fact that the yacht is bigger than the dwarf planet Pluto. It was a big surprise to everyone because the science community had decided that Pluto is no longer considered a planet. But it's hard to resist the beauty of such a yacht. Just take a look at it. Some people might say that Nat fell in love with it, or maybe his wealthy friends convinced him to buy it. Imagine everyone rushing to buy stuff on sale while poor Nat sits at the dock, crying. He's a Rothschild after all. He deserves something better actually, the very best. Nat's purchase was seen as a rare event, and other Rothschilds expressed their concerns. But Nat, who is the grandson of Baron Edmund de Rothschild, stood his ground. He believes that this purchase is not just a luxury, but an investment. Who says that investments can't include a super fancy VIP suite? The yacht has an owner's deck that's worth a lot of money, and it also has 9 other elegant cabins in case you want to host an important meeting like the G8 summit on your yacht. Some people around the world think that the Rothschilds control everything, so why hide it?
A great achievement to us, and I have a huge amount of gratitude to John for conceiving this, and all of the credit should go to him.
To make things even more impressive, guests can arrive at the yacht by helicopter instead of driving to the port like regular people. Despite the criticisms, Nat is convinced that this is simply an investment. The older members of the Rothschild family might have a different opinion, but our next topic is something that even Mayor Amschel Rothschild would find interesting. The Rothschilds are a very old Jewish family from Ashkenazi descent. They originally lived in Frankfurt, and during the 18th century, they shared a small house in the Jewish ghetto with several other families. This special house is where the Rothschilds got their name. Back then, houses didn't have numbers, but instead had a symbol hanging above the door. So the first powerful Rothschild in history, Mayor Amschel, was known as Mayor Amschel from the Red Shield. In Old German, he was called Der Rothschild. So, when Mayor's son, Nathan Rothschild, bought Gunnersbury Park in 1830 to build an amazing mansion, guess what symbol he put above the door? Nathan Rothschild's story is a bit complex. When he became an adult, he was sent to Great Britain to expand the Rothschild Empire in the huge United Kingdom. At first, Nathan didn't take this mission well. He thought his father was disappointed in him and sending him away to a new and unfamiliar place. It was only after Mayer passed away in 1812 that Nathan understood his father's decision. His father sent him not because he didn't trust him with the family business, but because he believed Nathan could succeed on his own in this challenging environment. So, Nathan decided to build a mansion to honor his father.
Hey, I'm David. If I was talking to my younger self, I would probably say dream big, go on many adventures, tell lots of stories, and draw inspiration from each other and people around you.
And put the Rothschild symbol on one of the most expensive buildings of that time. He bought some land for £17,000, which is about $3 million in today's money, and created a paradise. Nathan transformed the empty fields at Gunnersbury into a beautiful park with a magnificent mansion filled with tapestries, artwork, and all kinds of luxurious items. It was the style of the early 19th century. When the house was eventually sold, just 100 years later, it was sold for a tremendous amount of money. In today's terms, the price was equivalent to a staggering $132 million. This made it the most expensive house in England, not counting those owned by the royal family. However, despite this immense price, the estate is just a small part of the Rothschilds' overall wealth, which amounts to a portfolio worth $25 billion. They own properties across 3 continents, engaging in what could be called real estate accumulation. But the family has other passions too, such as wine and art, which they take to the extreme. One remarkable example is Chateau Mouton Rothschild. This grand chateau has a rich history that dates back to the 12th century when the first vineyards were established. In 1853, Nathaniel de Rothschild came across this vast grape field during his travels through France. Being a wine enthusiast, he ordered a bottle of the finest wine available, regardless of the cost. Little did he know that this wine would captivate him. He tried various other wines during his journey, but none could compare to what Chateau Brian Moton offered. It was like drinking a really addictive version of Coca-Cola. So, on his return, Nathaniel made an offer to the previous owners that significantly elevated their status. After the purchase, he renamed it Chateau Mouton Rothschild.
It's a very historical site. The Rothschilds have been in Bordeaux for 5 generations, have been at Chateau Lafite for 5 generations, and they are intimately connected with the Bordeaux vineyard as they own 4 properties, so as well as Lafite.
Under the guidance of the Rothschild family, this chateau consistently produces some of the world's most exceptional wines. But for a Rothschild, being the best in a business is just the starting point. Baron Philippe de Rothschild, while enjoying a glass of his favorite wine one evening, pondered how to spend an enormous amount of money and make this wine even better. As Baron Philippe sat in his favorite chair, his eyes wandered across the room and settled on a painting hanging to the right of the fireplace. It was a beautiful Picasso artwork with its unique cubic shapes. In that moment, Philippe had a brilliant idea. He realized how art could enhance the experience of wine tasting. Why not combine the two? And so, since 1945, Chateau Mouton Rothschild began selling bottles that were true works of art. Each year, they commissioned famous artists like Francis Bacon and Picasso to design the labels. Over the years, this artistic endeavor cost the Rothschilds millions of dollars. But can you really put a price on combining two of your greatest passions? Well, in this case, you can. The bottles now sell for $700 each. As I mentioned before, the Rothschilds only invest if they can make a profit in the long run. Chateau Mouton Rothschild represents a beautiful fusion of the family's cherished passions. It's no wonder that the chateau is valued at around $200 million today. They have no plans to sell it anytime soon, but simply owning such a luxurious property speaks volumes.
In front of you, the wines, I hope, so it's not a virtual wine tasting, it's a real wine tasting. And you have also a list of the wines that we will be tasting together in front of you. We will be starting off with wines from Bordeaux.
Now let's delve into the heartwarming tale of Baron Ferdinand de Rothschild and his younger sister, Alice. Ferdinand, being 8 years older, adored his sister. When he was sent to England at the age of 17, it was a heartbreaking separation for both of them. Ferdinand settled in London, while Alice remained in Vienna. They went on for 20 years without seeing each other, relying solely on traditional mail correspondence that took 2 weeks to travel from Great Britain to Austria. During this time, they couldn't be there for each other through the toughest moments in their lives. After the heartbreaking loss of their child at birth, followed by the death of Ferdinand's wife just a few days later, Alice was unable to offer comfort to her grieving brother. However, when their father passed away in 1874, Alice finally had the opportunity to travel to England and reunite with Ferdinand. Baron Ferdinand was overjoyed to see his beloved sister again and decided to build a magnificent home for her, one that would match her grace and beauty. This is how Waddesdon Manor came into existence. The Baron spared no expense, investing a substantial amount of 1.5 million British pounds, equivalent to 265 million in today's currency, to create an architectural masterpiece. Within Waddesdon Manor, Alice would flourish and establish herself as a prominent art collector, socialite, and one of the most influential women of her time. She personally designed both the interior and exterior of the home, showcasing her refined taste. However, Waddesdon Manor was more than just a residence. It served as a museum for the extensive art collections of Alice and Ferdinand. The manor housed various treasures including tapestries, furniture, ceramics, books and more. The Baron also invested a significant sum in creating stunning gardens surrounding the manor. In today's terms, the cost of the manor's grounds alone would amount to approximately $86 million. Yet for Ferdinand, the happiness of his little sister was worth every penny. Today, Waddesdon Manor stands as a testament to Alice's grand vision. It has been transformed into a museum where the public can marvel at the breathtaking art collections of Baron Ferdinand and Alice. Art holds a special place in the hearts of the Rothschild family, and their collection is vast and invaluable. In fact, for insurance purposes, the primary body of their art collection is valued at an impressive $2 billion. However, the true worth of their entire art collection is beyond measure.
First of all, I want to thank all the donors, investors, and entrepreneurs and curious folks who are here tonight to launch this new entrepreneurial fund, and also in honor of Fletcher McCusker. Fletcher has been very involved with the community.
The Rothschilds' art collection is truly remarkable, featuring tapestries from the Byzantine Empire and antiques dating back to the time of William the Conqueror. While there have been conspiracy theories suggesting ownership of religious artifacts like the Holy Grail or Noah's Ark blueprints, these claims seem far-fetched and unrealistic. In reality, their art collection is still awe-inspiring. Interestingly, even a relatively unknown painter, who later became a notorious dictator, showed a fondness for the Rothschilds' art pieces. Despite harboring negative views towards wealthy Jewish families, he didn't hesitate to seize a significant portion of their collection during France's occupation by Nazi Germany. The dictator himself, known for his distinctive moustache, personally oversaw the looting. As a result, around 3,500 art pieces went missing. Although some were returned after the war, a majority of them remain dispersed worldwide, waiting to be discovered. Who knows? If you happen to stumble upon one, the Rothschilds might even offer a reward. Though the idea of an interdimensional spaceship is purely fictional, now let's shift our focus from the Rothschilds' extravagant purchases to their investment endeavors. This affluent family truly knows how to put their money to work. Some individuals who are more inclined to believe in conspiracy theories claim that the Rothschilds have significant control over major banks, including one called J.P. Morgan. However, it's worth noting that J.P. Morgan is an independent entity and not directly affiliated with the Rothschilds. Nevertheless, the Rothschilds undeniably possess substantial power and influence. They have investments in some of the world's largest companies, ensuring their involvement wherever there are lucrative opportunities. This tradition dates back to 1769, when Mayor Amschel Rothschild, the patriarch of the family, was hired by Crowned Prince Wilhelm of Hesse. In 1785, when the young prince assumed power, he appointed Mayer as the manager of his kingdom's finances, a position known as a court Jew. Although this title may raise eyebrows today, it was considered a significant honor at that time. In Catholic-dominated Europe, having a court Jew was a common practice among wealthy aristocrats. They entrusted these individuals with the management of their money, since lending money for profit was forbidden according to biblical teachings. While many aristocrats lacked moral principles, they had to maintain a facade of religious obedience to preserve their reputation and prevent the loss of their lands and wealth. Seeing an opportunity to amass great wealth, Jews like the Rothschilds, including Mayer, invested the money they earned in banks. This trend of reinvesting their riches proved to be lucrative, generating even more wealth over time. Today, the Rothschilds are involved in numerous industries. For instance, they have a prominent presence in the gas and petrol industry, particularly in oil and gas exploration. The family acquired a company for nearly $370 million, which has now grown significantly in value to over $1.4 billion. In less than 10 years, Lord Rothschild managed to generate a profit of $1 billion for the family.
I think that we'll strike another agreement to continue to curb production after in the next few weeks, because they have no alternative. They might even decide to curb more production, to decrease more production in order to try to push prices at a level.
While their success, such as striking oil in the North Sea shortly after acquiring the company, may fuel conspiracy theories about their extraordinary powers, it could also be attributed to good fortune. Following the COVID pandemic and recent events involving Russia and Ukraine, gas and oil prices have skyrocketed. This has proven to be a lucrative venture for the Rothschilds, who have wisely diversified their investments. However, they have always remained mindful of their initial source of wealth. Banking has been a profitable investment for the Rothschilds, especially when you have trillions of dollars in capital to secure your business. However, their banking empire has not been without controversy. In the 18th century, when wars were rampant, the Rothschild family ensured they were always aligned with the winning side. How did they achieve this? Well, they established banks in major European countries, including Austria, France, the Holy Roman Empire, Great Britain, and later the United States. By financing both sides of conflicts, they inevitably profited from the chaos of war. As the number of banks increased over time, particularly in the 20th century, managing them all became quite burdensome. To streamline their operations, Jacob Rothschild came up with a brilliant idea.
I think the phenomenal change that's come about in the last 2 or 3 years is there probably isn't a child over the age of 6 that isn't deeply concerned about climate change. There were reports in the past, but now the focus of the world are on those problems.
He created a trust that consolidated and oversaw all the family banks in the United Kingdom, giving birth to the Rothschild Investment Trust. Despite selling their shares in the Royal Bank of Scotland in 1985, this industry giant is now valued at over $7.7 billion. In order to provide an impressive headquarters for RIT Capital Partners, Jacob made a significant purchase. He acquired the renowned Spencer House, which ensures that employees feel a sense of awe and humility when they come to work. This magnificent palace is located in the heart of London and is a prized possession of RIT. It boasts exquisite golden decorations, antique furniture, and art pieces by renowned masters adorning its walls. The house underwent extensive renovations in the late 1980s, making it the most significant renovation project in 20th century London. The substantial investment of $35 million was well worth it, as the lavish house is now valued at over $100 million. It's truly like having a palace in the middle of London. However, it's important to note that the property is not currently available for sale, so one shouldn't expect to see a specific Saudi prince entering its doors anytime soon. When it comes to the Rothschilds' investments, the value of RIT, which amounts to $7.7 billion, is considered mere pocket change. The family's wealth is measured not in millions or billions of dollars, but rather in pounds, or more accurately, in carats. As the family has been associated with the myth of Jews hoarding the world's gold, one can easily surmise that their gold holdings are substantial. It's no secret that the Rothschilds possess a substantial amount of gold. They not only own gold bars, but also have ownership of multiple gold mines worldwide. However, these mines are not the most profitable assets in their portfolio. That distinction belongs to Rio Tinto. Rio Tinto is a mining corporation valued at $103 billion and is the second largest metal mining company globally. Its success stands as a testament to the industrious spirit of the Rothschilds. When they acquired the company 150 years ago, it was merely a small local mining operation. Today, Rio Tinto holds the title of the largest copper producer worldwide, with an annual turnover of $30 billion. It was without a doubt a smart purchase and a difficult achievement to surpass. In fact, living up to the legacy of their ancestors has always been a significant challenge for every member of the Rothschild family. Edmund Adolphe de Rothschild was no exception. Although he received an excellent education in Geneva and held a secure job as a banker, he struggled to stand out in any remarkable way. Edmund grew up listening to his father's stories about the family's success and often felt overshadowed by his accomplished cousins. Determined to prove himself, he set out to become a successful Rothschild and leave a lasting legacy for future generations. In 1953, at the young age of 27, Edmund founded La Compagnie Financière. With the goal of becoming a leading global interdealer broker, his hard work paid off, and today his legacy is valued at nearly $212 billion. The company manages financial operations in Switzerland, known not only for its chocolate and picturesque cows, but also for its superior banking sector. Edmund's son, Benjamin de Rothschild, now runs the company and has expanded its reach to over 30 countries. He may even surpass the family's most expensive investment, the Glencore Mining Company, in the future. With a workforce of 145,000 people, the Rothschilds hold significant influence in Australia. Their ownership of Glencore, which produces over 110 million tons of coal annually and possesses the world's largest zinc and lead deposit, gives them substantial leverage. Governments must consider the ramifications of limiting coal-related industries, as it could impact their political future. The colossal wealth and political power of the Rothschild family are unparalleled. While there may be conspiracy theories surrounding them, their immense fortune is indeed real. However, there is another family on the rise, aiming to surpass the Rothschilds in both wealth and political influence. If you're interested in learning more about this family and other billionaire families worldwide, feel free to subscribe to our channel. We will be uploading more videos delving into these fascinating topics.